Hello, hello, it's Stuart, the Unrepentant Atheist, and I've got a call here from a character by the name of Saad. He's a Muslim. He called in several years ago, almost consecutive shows, about 5 or 6 times. Each call was 20, 25 minutes. He sounds like quite a pleasant fellow, but he didn't really know too much about Islam, especially when Matt pointed out that Muhammad was betrothed to a 6-year-old girl. And we saw the same old Islamic tap dance. They were different times, and it was by the will of Allah, etc., etc. And they didn't consummate the marriage until she was 18. Blah blah blah, which enraged Matt, of course. And I think he hung up on Saad on that occasion, and then Saad called back. And but this time, what they're talking about is Saad's going through his personal experiences. He's come to sort of glimpse God through his hookah experiences, this smoking scented tobacco or whatever it is. I'm not too sure. I don't even smoke. I've never smoked, so I don't really know. And Matt's saying, well, I've had those experiences too, but I didn't attribute them to a God. And then Saad suddenly goes into Sufism. And the reason really I wanted to play this clip is because Matt's response to this invitation to go and read a particular Sufi writer is, I think, a perfect response that all atheists should learn, so that if a Christian or, I don't know, Muslim or whatever, or a Hindu says, until you've read the Bhagavad Gita, until you've read the Quran in the original, and you've understood all the hermeneutics and you've studied it for years, you will find the existence of God in there. And I just think that Matt's response can be used for all of those texts. So let's listen to what he says.
Then I recognized that I had no justification for attributing my experience to a God. What justification do you have for attributing the experience that you credit God with actually being God? You've already acknowledged you don't have that information.
What information do you know about Sufism? Have you ever read anything by Rumi?
No.
Jalaluddin Rumi is a famous poet, philosopher.
No.
The expression on Matt's face there, I mean, he looks completely uninterested in this.
I know very little about Sufism specifically.
Well, I know one thing about Sufism. Apparently, they put on these kind of silk garments, and they spread out their arms. They sort of look in the air and start humming, and they start spinning around. And apparently, this sort of gives them some kind of divine experience. So I know one thing about Sufism, and that's what it is.
But I can tell you this: if Sufism had reliable evidence that would allow somebody to show the supernatural exists, we'd all fucking know. It'd be on the front page of every paper. It'd be the Templeton Foundation would stop investigating Christian prayer, and they'd be going after Sufis. It would be Nobel Prize worthy. There's nothing that you can point to that some Muslim scholar wrote that
I've got to challenge him there. I thought the Templeton Foundation was for Christians. I would have thought that if they found out that Sufis have got a way to Allah and that Islam is a true religion, the only way they'd be going after him is with a gun.
is going to be able to confirm supernatural causation that the whole world would not already have known about.
Well, that's what it's down to, really. And that's why when Christians come to me, or, Muslims, you've not read the Bible. Oh, yes, I have. Have you read it in the original Hebrew? And have you read the New Testament in the Greek that it was written in? Well, actually, yes. Have you used the correct hermeneutics? Because without the correct hermeneutics, you'll never get through to proper understanding of God. It goes on and on and on. And Matt's response there is perfect. There's no need to read through all of these sacred texts. There are experts out there. There are experts whose life work it is to read through these texts. Believers who, if they could construct a solid case for the existence of their God and present it to the world and prove their religion, they would have done it. As Matt said, we would all know about it. It would be a Nobel Prize winner. And if it wasn't a Nobel Prize winner, we would definitely all know about it. God has finally been proven. Richard Dawkins has converted. Matt Dillahunty has converted. Sam Harris, the whole lot. And if it was Islam that had been proven true through Sufism, William Lane Craig has converted to Islam. He's been seen on his knees. He's got a Muslim mat, and he's been praying in the direction of Mecca. Yeah, we would all know about it. The world religion, the true religion would have been proven. I have an extremely high level of confidence that that is the case. I highly doubt whether me trawling and spending years learning all these ancient languages, trawling through all these ancient texts looking for God, I highly doubt if I'm going to find anything which would have been found already, because people with more expertise than me, hundreds, thousands of scholars have been searching through these texts for evidence of God that they could present to the world and prove their one true religion. There's no need to read through these texts. And I just thought it was worth playing that clip because of Matt's response there to the challenge. So I'm fairly sure that what Saad was going to say is that if only you would read through, you would. It gives you directions on how you can meditate and you can come into contact with God. And I mean, Matt's a busy person. He hasn't got time. He hasn't got time for this. If there was anything in it, we'd all know about it. So Saad, just to sort of put a full stop against his name, I remember, I think the last occasion he called in was one of the most preposterous calls I've ever heard. He called in about these what do they call them? Air eaters. I'm not sure what they call them. They're mostly out in the east, in India. They claim they live on nothing. They live on fresh air. And he believes it. And Matt has said, why do you believe it? Have you actually sat with the person for that length of time? They claim they were eating nothing to make sure they didn't eat anything. And were you awake the whole time to make sure they didn't sneak any food? And Saad said no, but you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. And well, obviously, no, you don't give them the benefit of the doubt. What you do is you doubt a fantastic claim until sufficient evidence is proven that it's true. So no. I mean, by Saad's epistemology, he should then therefore give Christianity the benefit of the doubt. And he should be a Christian, right? Or he should give Hinduism the benefit. He should be a Hindu. He sounds to me like a very good person to con. If I go to him and tell him that, if he'll give me $10,000 and meet me tomorrow, I'll have $100,000 for him. He's going to give me the benefit of the doubt, isn't he, right? That I'll be there with the $100,000 tomorrow. Okay. My point is made, but the main thing is, just coming back to Matt said, we would all know about it. Definitely we would all know about it if there was anything in it, if there was any evidence for God in any of these texts. We would all know about it. There would be a one world religion. Okay. That's enough. Let me know what you think of that. I'll leave a link to this conversation in the description. Thanks for watching. Be back soon.